Thanks very much for that, Karishma. Karishma Sudani joining me from New Delhi on that policy news break. Meanwhile, let's discuss what's happening in the markets. How exactly is markets positioned ahead of the budget? Though a lot of work from the monetary policy side on the policy front, as Karishma was bringing, is already happening outside of the budget. But every year ahead of the budget, the market starts to factor in certain things. This time too is no different, but there is a recovery which is definitely happening, and to discuss that I have with me Chairman of Edelweiss Group, Rashesh Shah, joining us. Rashesh, thank you very much for your time. How are you reading the work being done, the quality of recovery, RBI's role, etc., and the way market is actually reading all of that in?
I think first of all, what we've seen in the last few months is almost like a relief from the panic that was there. If you go back and remember, April, May, June, July, those 4 months were very panic-ridden months. I mean, there was panic around economy, there was panic around COVID, all of that. So I think from August onwards, we started seeing the panic going down, some activity coming back, and as the economy is opened up, the activity rebound, and it's an actual rebound. On the ground, we can see it with steel companies and cement companies and automobile companies and all of them. So there is a real rebound and an uptick that has happened in the last few months. Along with that, if you see even in our ARC, like we have a very large ARC where we do resolutions and restructuring and all, a lot of companies have either come in being able to start paying back from their earnings. A lot of acquisitions have happened. So we are seeing what I call the first stage of investment cycle. The first stage of investment cycle is people want to acquire operating assets on the ground. The second stage is where they will do the fresh greenfield projects and capex, which we are still about a year away. So we started seeing this around August, September onwards, and obviously fueled by global liquidity, Indian liquidity, optimism, and a real turnaround in the economy. Both, I think, even corporate earnings, because I think corporates have responded very well to this. They've cut costs, they've become very efficient, they've streamlined. So I think what has happened is last 3-4 months, it has underscored that the Indian economy is very robust and very resilient, and that is also giving a lot of confidence to investors, global and Indian. And ultimately, as you know, the market is a discounting machine. So it takes the next 5-10 years and discounts it on a minute by minute basis. Of course, media outfits like yours help them in how to discount and how to process information and all of that. But the market is constantly processing information. But if you look at the three real underpinnings of the market, they are always going to be sentiment, liquidity, and fundamentals. And for the first time, we're seeing a lot of positive sentiment. Even I think global sentiment is very positive. Liquidity is very good, and fortunately, the fundamentals are improved. In fact, maybe we can speak a little bit more. I think Indian economy is coming out of a long-term downtrend, not only of a short-term downtrend.
Right, Rashesh. Let's talk about one of the factors which has aided this recovery is the cost of capital coming down. Globally, of course, and yes, here back home in India as well, RBI has been bringing rates lower. But last evening's communication seemed to be suggesting that RBI's view is to cheering the economy, that by summer we may have a glorious summer, is the word being used in the report, and saying that the window of rate cuts is still open. It appears like a big positive to me. As a corporate, as somebody who works with so many corporates on ground, how do you see that element and the role of RBI in aiding the recovery?
So if you look at last about 8-9 years, RBI has maintained a tight liquidity and a high real interest rate policy, mainly because they were fighting inflation and they wanted to make sure that the back of inflation is broken. And I think all economists believe that it takes a certain period of time for the market to give credibility to that RBI's commitment to bring inflation down, which I think is starting to get established. So that gives RBI a little bit of more elbow room, not to be too rigid and not to be too tight on the monetary side, because if the market believes that RBI will not let inflation go out of hand, then the market expectations also become a lot easier, which gives room to RBI to be a little bit more easier on the monetary policy. But if you see India, from 2012 onwards, our economy was in some sort of a down cycle. First, there was all the scams and policy paralysis, then the taper tantrum, and then changes like demonetization and GST and RERA and all that. And then, so we were in a downtrend. Then in 18, the ILFS episode happened, which led to even further downswing because of liquidity crunch. So first, there was a fundamental correction of the economy going on with high bank NPAs and overcapacity and all that. So we were going through a downturn on a structural long-term basis. Then ILFS happened. So even the medium-term downturn got started at that, which was about 2.5 years ago. And then COVID started a short-term downtrend. I think what has happened in the last quarter, the short-term downtrend is reversed. The medium-term downtrend, which was liquidity-driven and post-ILFS, has reversed, and the long-term downtrend, because bank NPAs have got cleaned up, overcapacity is also, because 8 years there has not been a lot of new capacities have come about. Even in real estate, inventory is falling. The new launches are much lower than the sales that are happening. So slowly and steadily, the structural turnaround of the economy also, which happens over 5 to 8 years, has happened. So we are in the midst of a short, medium, and long-term turnaround of a downtrend that has been plaguing our economy.
Right. Rashesh, we are approaching the union budget. Expectations are high. Well, there's a lot of work which the government has and the various ministries have done outside the budget as well. But market does expect a lot from budget as well every year, even if after GST the importance of budget for market may be diminishing. But still, what as a large corporate in the lending space, in running a large financial services house, what would you want to listen to from the finance minister? Areas of focus or a message for global investing community? You work with a lot of global investors closely.
So Ajay, we are seeing as an NBFC, but NBFC is actually one of the 8 businesses we have. We have 8 businesses, including asset management, wealth management, insurance, all of that. So our view on financial services is a lot more comprehensive than just on the credit side or related to the credit side of the business. Obviously, credit is the key part of the economy. But I think overall, if you see, we do feel that last year the real action has been on the monetary policy side. On the fiscal side, government has been fairly disciplined and they have not used up their ammunition on the fiscal side. But a lot of us I believe that the time has come to loosen the fiscal deficit. This is a golden opportunity to really open up the fiscal budget a little bit, and government should spend money, but they should spend money not on undertaking projects like infrastructure and all, because there is a long lead time. It will take 2 years for government to start any new project and all. If government can do tax cuts and put money in the hands of the lower middle class, not the upper class, I think that will be really beneficial, and this initial momentum we have got in the economy can really be maintained. Also remember, Ajay, very few of us realize that the RBI policy and the monetary policy impacts the upper end of the economy. It's the formal side of the economy, because when RBI loosens, it goes to banks cater to the formal side of the economy. So all the people, like all of us, benefit a lot more from the monetary side, and that's globally also because of quantitative easing. The upper end has always benefited more. The fiscal loosening impacts and benefits the lower end of the economy. So we have done on the upper end with the monetary policy. Now we need to do the fiscal side, because when government gives money on a program or puts money in the hands of people, the Aam Aadmi as we call them, that impacts the lower end of the economy. And I think the time has come. The last year, the upper part of the economy has done fairly well, has recovered fairly well, and we are seeing it from corporate earnings and banks and all. I think it's the informal, the semi-formal, the rural sector which needs a strong support also, and government policy, the fiscal policy in this budget can impact that a lot. So government should spend, loosen the fiscal purse strings, but not focus too much on investment, but focus a lot more on consumption and putting money in the hands of people, which will get spent faster.
Right. Rashesh, you in your various businesses, you have some of the best names as partners in terms of global funds. You work closely with them. And actually it's the same community, it's the FII community which has been, bringing huge amounts of money into India last couple of weeks and months, not only in the stock market but even on the unlisted side. You understand that temperament very closely, working with them for a long time. Does it look durable? Does it look different? The FII FDI flows into India this time round are different, and they are really coming for the long term. What are your thoughts? How do you analyze the flows into our country, which is happening at an unprecedented rate this time?
I think in terms of India's, attraction to the foreign investors, we have gone through stages, started in 95 when there was phase one, and there was another phase after 2008. I think there was another phase around 2014 where there was a lot of hype and expectations from Indian economy in terms of reforms and changes. I think around 18 we started seeing the foreign investor attraction to India going down. And I think a lot of the investors started questioning India's growth rate and the long-term trajectory and all that. So we had 2 years between 18 to 20 where a lot of foreign investors were skeptical. And when they're skeptical, it doesn't mean that they go away, but they are not very enthusiastic about increasing allocations to India. I'm sensing the last 4-5 months that has changed. I think India's fundamental view has undergone a change, and partly because how we managed COVID. COVID was a stress test for the Indian economy, and partly, as I said, the long-term downturn, a lot of the reforms like GST, we are seeing GST collections are very robust. A lot of the long-term changes, IBC, GST, RERA, a lot of those are now starting to bear fruit. Any change takes 2-3 years to get absorbed, and there is always a disruption in the economy. Along with that, I think the global view is global liquidity is going to be easy. US interest rates will be low. The US dollar will fall, which is very good for emerging markets. So again, there is a confluence of events and views which are coming around, and in that, emerging market is very favored, but India is now actually on the top of the chart in terms of foreign investors. And it's not for the short term, it's not the hedge funds and all. We are truly seeing long-term dedicated money coming to India. And we think next 5-10 years that should continue. We talk to, as you said, all these investors in our funds and others, which is about $1 billion to $2 billion every year from these investors. And we are seeing a lot of renewed interest in India. People who had put India on hold for the last couple of years are starting to come back. And I do think 21 is a critical year for India, but it will also be a game-changing year for India.
Well, thanks very much for that, Rashesh. That was Rashesh Shah, Chairman of Edelweiss Group. But there's another big story which is developing right now, and that is Biocon. Biocon's stock